now.
Alrighty, what's up, Weekend Warriors, and welcome back to another edition of Sunday Night Stream here on the Weekend Dojo. So tonight we're going to be talking about some new developments in the Tokusatsu community, specifically here in the West. But before we get into any of that, there's a quick topic I'd like to cover. Now, some of you may or may not know that I am very invested in the rock and roll community, specifically blues, rock and roll, metal, the whole family tree.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, a big name, but you know him as the lead singer of Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, has recently been diagnosed with a very severe case of bronchitis that has actually caused him to push back in this tour that he was supposed to do indefinitely. And I don't know how much validity to this is, but I have heard that there have actually been some complications. And so I would just like to say to Ozzy, from the Weekend Dojo and its entire community, please get well soon, because if you're gone, the world will be a little less weird, and we can't have that.
Of course.
I mean, he was a crazy guy, but let's just take it easy for a little bit. I know you like smoking all kinds of crazy shit, man. Give it a rest until your lungs are better, dude. Because we would miss you. The whole world would miss you.
Indeed.
And so I just wanted to get that off my chest because I really admire Ozzy. He's a fun guy with an interesting voice who just lives the life I think we all want to live. So, moving on from that, I guess we'll cover tonight's main topic, which would be, and we'll revisit this later on, but we'll revisit the Ozzy topic later on. But the main topic tonight is Hasbro and their announcements for Power Rangers merchandise.
Right.
Now, Hasbro has actually started off on a strong foot with the Beast Morphers toy line, specifically the Beast Morpher, which is the Morphin Brace, and the Lightning figure series, which is not just limited to Beast Morphers, by the way. Like Kenny, you've seen all the pictures. You've seen how good these look.
I have been on top of all the pictures.
All right, why don't you let us in on your opinions of what you have seen so far and what you would like to see in the future as far as design choices.
Mind if I screen share them?
As long as they're right from the Hasbro website, sure.
Yeah, let me pull up the website real quick then. Hold on.
By the way, these images are copyright to Hasbro. They do own the rights to these. We are not claiming any sort of ownership of these.
Correct.
Nor any sort of creative.
Let me see if Ranger Nation is up still. That's the official Power Ranger site. Let's see here. Power Rangers. See here. Find it. All right. PowerRangers.hasbro.com. Let's see if we can find anything on it. It's on Twitter. You mind if I go to Twitter? To Hasbro's page on Twitter?
Okay, doke. As long as you bring up the image first and then screen share.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
While we're waiting on that, I would like to say that I am very excited. I wish they had not done the motions, because I've seen some of the images of like the release of the Beast Morpher. I wish they had not done the motion sensor thing.
Okay, I'm on Power Rangers Now's page. I'm gonna go to the very first image, and then we'll go through each of them as we scroll up. Okay.
Okie doke.
Let me get to a starting point. Because we got oh my gosh, we got a lot of great stuff to go over. Yeah, let's start here. Okay, you ready?
Go for it.
Screen share. Hey, okay. First off, we've got the $10 Power Rangers Beast Morphers basic action figures. Yes, these are $10.
Which is great because they look almost figure arts quality.
Yes, they do. The painting is amazing. Quick question.
Bear in mind, these are just assumptions going off of pictures. We do not actually have these figures in our hand to determine whether they will be good or not.
Right. We do have pictures of what they look like on display, though. So, at Toy Fair, because Toy Fair was this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I always miss out on that.
I'm always up to date on it. But yeah, from what I'm getting, these are pretty much legacy quality without the ridiculous muscle steroid Schwarzenegger molds, and they have all the paint, and they're only $10. And then, all right, so ooh, this one's good. This is the Halloween costume they'll be doing. And they got a little ridiculous muscle thing here, but look at this. That looks like a full body helmet.
The helmet's cool, and I just don't like the this. Okay, this is going to be the weirdest thing, but this is going to be the only time I complain about a Power Rangers costume not looking like spandex, or like a Power Rangers costume that does look like spandex, because on the show it looks more like biker gear, whereas this is more spandexy, and so I can tell it's a costume.
Yep.
But you know what? It's a kid's Halloween costume. It clearly isn't meant for adults. Right. So for what it is, it's pretty good.
And look at this. The Power Rangers Beast Morphers Nerf product. I actually forgot that Nerf owned Hasbro, or Hasbro owned Nerf.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be kind of fun. It'll be interesting to see them try to do it with the actual blasters in the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, from what I've seen pics of, this was pretty much almost 100% accurate. Just it has foam shooters.
I know, but there's like also the transforming weapons and everything, and they probably won't do Nerf blasters of that. They probably won't. And I'm going to say this is now I'm going to say this right. This is not Hasbro's fault. I just never liked the design of the Go Busters Megazord. This is not Hasbro's fault. This is honestly Bandai's fault. But you know what? Because, okay, bit of a clarification here, and we'll go into this later. But remember that Bandai owns several of the licenses to Super Sentai in Japan, which affects the way the toys look here in the West after Hasbro gets the license to produce them. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about that later. But so ultimately, this is more of a gripe with Bandai than Hasbro for me. And actually, they have improved their designs later.
From what I've seen here, this is actually pretty impressive for a Megazord. This is like RPM quality. And remember, RPM was fantastic with its toys.
Well, okay, let me explain. So, in the actual show and in the original toy, the Bandai Japanese toy, first of all, I think it looks way too... It doesn't strike a Megazord chord with me, and the reason for that is parts forming. I hate parts forming because it's lazy.
Okay. What do you mean by
And
parts forming?
where you have to take one of the mechs apart to attach it to another.
Oh, okay.
Or you have to take it apart to transform it.
And that was the
I
whole
think
thing with the Go Buster Zord?
Yeah. I think it's lazy. I think there are better ways to go about it. I don't like the look of it.
Okay.
And again, that's an issue I have with the decisions Bandai was making at the time. They have improved.
Was that your issue with the
Kinda.
Power Rangers movie Zord also? One of the issues?
A little bit, yeah. And I guess I want to say they've gotten better. They've really kind of overcompensated.
Also, along with that, we got Hasbro and Paramount are in talks of doing either a reboot or another Power Rangers movie.
Now, that'll be interesting to see what comes out of there, because Bandai won't own the licenses to that.
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see what Hasbro comes up with out of their own head.
Also, off on the side with Hasbro and movies, it has been confirmed Bumblebee is 100% a reboot that's jump-starting the Hasbro Cinematic Universe.
All right, I can get down with that.
And now, with Power Rangers in the play, there's a lot of speculation that they're in the Cinematic Universe as well.
Is Bumblebee Paramount?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. If it's a cinematic universe, and we're talking like an actual cohesive story universe, not just a random collection of movies that are connected by a similar company, then it will be interesting to see what goes on, because I believe it was Marvel originally who made. I want to say Marvel made the Transformers comics.
Yeah. But
And
they don't own anything with it anymore.
yeah, it's IDW now, but
Yeah. But the thing
it's
is,
just kind of an interesting history.
Yeah. There's a history, but Marvel completely has sold off the rights. Like, they
I know
own
what
nothing.
I know. I guess what I'm saying is, like, because Marvel used to own the rights to produce the Transformers comic, and I believe they had the Power Rangers license at one point.
And here's
check my facts on that.
Fan theory behind this. If they do a sequel, the rumor is if they continue off the first movie, they're gonna make a joke about the Michael Bay's Someone made a theory that they'll make a joke about Michael Bay's Transformers having existed, but it was sort of it was a film that some bad Hollywood movie maker made based off of real events.
That'd be funny. That would be funny. Let's get Twitter off the screen for a minute.
Okay.
Just get back to talking face to face. So, yes, I think that, after having done some thinking about it and seeing how things are developing, I could see this doing all right. Would I get terribly invested in it? Well, I haven't gone to see Bumblebee in theaters yet. I'm waiting for it to come out on Netflix or something like that.
You need to see it. But yeah, what they've confirmed so far, like 100% confirmed as a cinematic universe, is Bumblebee, Mask, and G.I. Joe. My Little Pony's getting a movie, but I highly doubt that's going to be in the shared universe because there's no way you can make that fit.
Yeah. That would be a little out of place, wouldn't it?
Very out of place.
I'm actually very intrigued, though, to see what the modern take on Mask will be, because it was kind of an interesting gimmick at the time, wherein, your special gadget was your helmet.
Well, they pretty much confirmed that John Cena's character is the lead team member of Mask, Agent Burns.
Okay, yeah, okay.
His last name was his name in that was literally Agent Burns. That's what his title was, and he worked for Sector 7. So it looks like they're going to be doing is building it around Sector 7. So the theory right now is that there are going to be two divisions of Sector 7: the G.I. Joe and the Team Mask.
Okay.
And then the Cobra will get some of their...
Actually, if I may interject, in the IDW comic, that's kind of how it works. They're different groups of people. The
Mhm.
Joes are, they have interacted with the Cybertronians in the past, and Mask is kind of its own unit. They even reference the theme song in the comic book. You might say that we're just crusaders working overtime, fighting crime.
But yeah,
By the way, if you want to get something stuck in your head, go look up the Mask theme song. That's M.A.S.K.
mhm. But yeah, these are all fan theories right now based on what they're putting together, but they make perfect sense.
Fan theories often make perfect sense until you see the finished product. And
Yeah,
then the fan theories kind of fall apart
yeah.
because you realize you missed this one big crux.
But it's still fun to think about. But yeah,
Absolutely.
here's what I think is going to happen. We've got Bumblebee already established. After the Sector 7 found out Decepticons are bad, Autobots are good. Bumblebee, I assume you already knew pretty much how the movie ends, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So Optimus comes. They make a they create an Autobot headquarters HQ on Earth. Hopefully something like in the G1 cartoon where it's the big ship in the canyon.
The Ark.
The Ark, yes, the Ark.
I would like to see them do Autobot City.
Oh, that would be amazing. And then well, we can have this universe built around Mask. And then how we can do it with Power Rangers is if they bring Power Rangers into the universe, the first film, or we can connect it eventually after that could lead into Lightspeed Rescue if they continue a universe off of this.
Yeah, well, if they go from the first Power Rangers into Zeo into Lights, I guess so.
They don't have to follow the exact order of all the teams. They can pick and choose based on what makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And it is a different universe altogether.
Yeah. So I'd be
what I would really like to see too is just think about it first. The Power Rangers, at least in this universe, are not controlled originally by any sort of Earth governing body, which makes them a threat to Mask and to the Joes because they're a bogey. They're outliers. They are unpredictable, which means they either got to A, take them out and confiscate all their equipment, probably going to happen, or B, get them on board, which actually will probably also happen. They'll probably give them a special license, say, okay, we've analyzed your technology. We're sorry we destroyed it. So here is some new stuff based on that technology. You guys have already had experience in this, so we're going to trust you.
Yes, that would be cool. And then we can eventually get some iconic Rangers in. Hopefully Lightspeed Rescue, my favorite team.
Titanium Ranger.
Titanium Ranger, yes. And then how would you, assuming they went down that route, how would you go about adapting Lightspeed Rescue while we're on that topic?
Adapting it to film. Well, first things first, I would say is if it is by, say, Mask who's doing this, and I'm going to assume it's Mask because
no, well, the thing is Sector 7 is what's
Sector 7
together. Yeah.
Okay, so if it is Sector 7, they're probably going to try to again keep it more like Mask, which means that it's going to be very clean looking technology. And I think the first thing, it's probably going to be the Titanium Ranger that comes out first because he's using a prototype solar powered morpher.
Right. What's the end? How are we gonna make sense of like Diabolico and the evil, the demon enemies they had in that series? How would we?
Oh, simply put, like that would be something carried over because in the Power Rangers series, all of these villain groups tend to have some form of knowledge of each other or some network of communication.
Right. So like this could be like an intergalactic empire type union thing.
Pretty much, and I don't see why they couldn't team up with the Decepticons or
true.
At least later on, maybe in a later movie or something.
And then have like something that's the equivalent to the Avengers, where it's like a crossover event type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would your pitch be for a G.I. Joe Mass Power Rangers Transformers event? What would you call it, and how would you have it go?
Well, first things first, IDW is already laying the groundwork. G.I. Joe copies the physiology of the flyer type Transformers like Jetfire, essentially making Valkyries. Mass Crusaders is out there investigating the damage left over by certain, giant robot battles. And I use the term robots in quotations because the Transformers technically aren't robots.
Right.
Um,
Now,
and here,
would you like to make the connection, somehow make the connection that the Zords are based off Cybertronian technology and that the Eltarians had an alliance with them?
you know what? Considering that this is its own self-contained universe, I don't see why not. Especially if you look at some of the way they're shaping these G1 Transformers, especially Optimus. Okay, there is a fire truck Zord in Lightspeed Rescue that looks like fucking Optimus. So, Hotspot. So you know what? You could do it. You could make it work. The only issue is that they would have to somehow use the workaround, because if they're using some of the more modern storytelling elements of Transformers, some of the staples, then they would have to somehow synthesize a spark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. Well, if we're following Transformers lore, it's not that simple.
Okay.
But there is a way to synthesize sparks.
Here's how I think they could have done it. The Zords don't have to be sentient. They could
not
have
for Lightspeed Rescue.
They could have been. They could have been forged from Cybertron to.
Well, actually, you're onto something here, because there is actually terminology in the comic that supports your theory here. So, if you mind if I go over it real quick?
Yeah.
There is a method of creating other Cybertronian life. See, there's two types of ways to procreate for Cybertronians. There is forging, in which the Vector Sigma, their computer, will flash and light up sparks in an uncollected sparks in a cluster somewhere in the sky. They'll go out and mine those sparks and drop it into a vat full of molten living metal.
Ooh, okay.
And then that spark builds a body out of that molten metal. The other way is to cold construct them, meaning they actually melted other Cybertronians down. This is a Nova Prime thing, by the way. This is not Optimus is doing. Using that metal, they built new bodies, and then using what they call photonic crystals, Nova Prime essentially tortured the Matrix to force it to release life energy into these photonic crystals, which were then placed inside these cold constructed bodies.
Okay. My thought, though, is like how we could do this is maybe have it the war between the Eltarians and the Rita Deception and all that could have happened around the same time as the Decepticons and Autobot Civil War. In this universe, we could have it as Lord Zed, all those type of people had sided with the Decepticons, and they could have been all originally Eltarians and eventually mutated or something like that. Basically, we could have it as like Eltar and Cybertron were a allied planetary empire, and
or it could have been a similar situation, like if it was as bad a war as it's been made out to be. Don't forget, the Decepticons' goal is to establish mechanical life as the dominant force in the universe.
Right.
And Earth was not the first planet they went after.
Mm-hmm. Now, making sense of how to have like people like Lord Zed, Rita Repulsa, and all these other villains from Power Rangers side with the Decepticons, knowing that the Decepticons want a mechanical superior society. We'd have to make sense of that.
Well, we could Cobra. It would be easier if you started from G.I. Joe at that point with Cobra, because Cobra did in fact, in the Marvel comics, create sort of their own Transformers called the Viper. They were like little target masters and stuff.
Right.
They were surgically altered, kind of like the Marvel comics headmasters.
Here's what I can do with that, though. So there was a scene in Transformers Bumblebee where Blitzwing was blown up by Bumblebee in the fight, but we never saw what happened to Blitzwing. What if on the sidelines Cobra was forming? We didn't see in the movie, but they were. And they acquired Blitzwing's remains and reverse engineered it to create their some of their tech, like their transforming jets and all that.
I could believe that. I could see that how that would be a great work in.
Mm-hmm. Because it blew up, but just because something blows up doesn't mean it's permanently damaged.
Oh yeah, and they even state in the comics with Transformers too that destroying the body does not necessarily mean the death of the spark.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, they say in the comic that it's incredibly difficult to put a spark out.
Right.
So, I mean, Megatron himself has been placed in dozens of different bodies.
Or you could play another thing. You could play Cobra out like Hydra.
Explain.
Sir 7, for example, and U.S. government infiltration.
And it's fun to speculate too, but and we'll have to wait to see how this comes out.
Yeah, this is us just wishful thinking and fun chatting on what could be.
Yeah, I mean, we could this could turn out totally different. Here's how I would like to see it play out.
Okay.
So, the Power Rangers movie, kind of self-contained. You can take elements from that in order to attach it to this new universe, but excuse me. I think the Bumblebee movie is going to have to be where we pull the majority of the dominoes to get things moving and to get things moving from.
Right.
Now, why do I say that? Because a lot of what makes all of these series that we're bringing up so cool is the technology present within them, but it is very unearthly technology. Now, where are you going to get technology like that? It's going to have to be Cybertronian, or at least based on Cybertron, which means that we're going to be depending on the Transformers to bring technology to Earth to inspire and teach humans to advance it further. And that means Autobots and Decepticons. And it's also but I think because Power Rangers is going to be part of this universe, we are going to find out about Beast Formers very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Because Beast Formers, even before Beast Wars, was a popular trope.
Should we get a Beast Wars film?
I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
At least not.
If they do,
not in the form that the original show happened in.
If they ever bring in Beast Wars Transformers, one of them needs to say, "Well, that's just Prime," at least once.
At least once, yeah. The reason I say they probably won't do a Beast Wars film is simply because of the scenario it takes place in. It's cool as a show, especially in a show where it's just robots interacting with robots. But when you're building a universe where you've got all these different groups interacting with each other, but by creating the Beast Wars scenario verbatim, you're essentially once again removing Transformers from this new universe, and then you have to tie it back in.
There's no way they can at this point because Bumblebee, while it is G1-ish, they didn't come to Earth in 65 million years ago and pass out in between. They came to Earth literally in the 80s.
Okay, so yeah, so at this point, there's no way they can.
Right. Now, because the thing is about Beast Wars is, didn't that have to do with time travel and going back in time? The Descendants.
Yes, here's how it went out. See, okay, so the Autobots and the Decepticons ended their war, formed the Tripredacus Council. Everyone was hunky-dory on the surface, officially. But that never solves shit. So splinter cells of the Decepticons formed the Predacons. If you watch the original Robots in Disguise cartoon, you know what I'm talking about.
Been a long time. You're talking about the 2001 one, right? Okay, I need to rewatch that.
And so, similarly, a splinter cell of the Autobots formed the Maximals, and it formed this whole new, very tense factionist system again
Okay.
well, let's face it, no matter how courteous you're being on the surface, if you enforce punishments that are too strict on the loser of a war, they're going to rise up again because no one likes to be put down like that, no matter how bad they were at the beginning, no matter how bad they admit they were in the beginning. They're not going to stand by and just take it.
Right.
Okay, that's not how life works. And so uh
So of
the
course the
whole
Autobots kind of caused this whole thing again by tearing them down.
essentially, yeah, it's the a Treaty of Versailles scenario.
Okay.
World War II history. Remember, you might want to dig up your old high school history books. It's probably in there. But anyway, so essentially they get pissed off, and there's Megatron forms his own group of Predacons, goes back in time to, or rather, tries to goes back in time to try to stop the Autobot Decepticon war and make Decepticons the de facto winners.
Uh-huh.
And in order to stop them, the Maximals go back, and they get landed. The Earth is filled with unprocessed raw energon, which overloads their robot mode, so they have to take on organic forms to shield themselves.
Right.
And these organic forms typically still suit their robot mode bodies. But at the same time, you've also got Beast Wars 2 Neo, or Beast Wars Neo and Beast Wars 2, which happen actually slightly out of sync. They happen during the same time period, but they're a couple of clicks out of chronal synchronicity with the events of Beast Wars. So there are battles happening in Beast Wars in the show that you never saw,
Okay.
even though they happened right in front of your eyes, because they weren't synchronized to that time stream.
Okay.
Again, that's a whole chunk of shit that they would have to tie back into this
Yeah, it's
movie
too
series.
much. No, I see why Beast Wars is the most praised because it has the deepest lure.
And it actually ended up, inspiring later lore and creating concepts that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Okay. But now that we've gone through the cinematic universe event, can we go back to the toy stuff?
Oh yes, so the toys. Yeah. So I wanted to say,
Sure.
how the toys themselves, how Hasbro owning this toy license here in the West affects what will come over here. Because remember that Bandai has very specific licenses in the East as far as what toys get produced, because they kind of design they design from the ground up the toys that go into these shows.
Yeah.
And the shows get written around them.
See, what I like here is that for the toys, they're going above and beyond. They even released a play school line that's kind of like Imaginext, and they're releasing more than just Mighty Morphin. They've got Wild Force. They even have stuff for various seasons already made.
That'll be awesome, and I look forward to it. I'm just saying, like, going forward, this will affect things.
Yeah.
And okay, that toy right there, I want to talk about this for a minute. So just like the Morphin brace, it's got all the built-in little phrases and shit that you would expect. Just catchphrases from the Rangers and everything.
Uh-huh.
And you can see that they actually even highlighted the connector port for the Super Mode goggles. Excuse me again.
It's called the Beast X Morpher.
Okay, the Beast X Morpher. And the only gripe that I have with it, is the motion sensor punching gimmick.
Okay.
Because, okay, essentially it's got like a little ball in it, and when it moves, it registers that as a button push, which triggers a sound. I find that, like, again, it's for kids, but I personally find it very annoying because it means that, unless they've got a setting that turns it off, but if they don't, that means that you're not going to be able to move this thing too quickly to do something else without triggering that, and that gets old real quick.
Well, here's the thing with this. This has been made differently from the Japanese one.
I'm fully aware of that.
they have a new system attached to it where to do stuff with it, you have to collect the keys from the action figures.
Oh,
And the
now that
keys serve as a weapon for your action figure, but they're also used to power different functions for the morpher.
now that'll be intriguing. Which reminds me, can we talk about Ryu Soldier for a minute?
Yes, hold on. Which one is that?
Ryu Soldier. It's the latest Sentai series that has not come out yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, right here.
They rehashed the goddamn Ranger Key gimmick.
How so?
You have to use little Ryu souls that, when you flick them, turn into little figurines that hold a weapon that has specific teeth in it that unlocks certain gimmicks in your morpher and or weapon. And does that sound familiar?
Yeah, Gokaiger. I heard Gokaiger was actually going to be in this in bringing them together.
That might help ease it a little bit.
I saw a trailer and it had the Gokaigers doing were in the footage.
I know and that might make it work if this is based on Ranger Key, on the same concept as Ranger Keys, or if they come from the same magical source. That'd be fine. It's just that, did we really need dinosaurs again? I never thought I'd be able to say I got tired of dinosaurs.
Well, here's the thing with this. When I first saw pics of this, I thought it was Dragonite, and I thought they were going to call it Power Rangers Dragonite, but that or something like that. But yeah, that's a missed opportunity right here, given what they look like.
They look like the goddamn Kyoryugers again.
They look to me they look like Dragonites, honestly, literal Dragonites. Look at their helmets.
I mean, the helmets do look a little more knight-ish, but let's break down the raw elements without talking about the way they're stylized.
The zigzag.
The teeth marks on their suit.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that in order to activate their powers, they have to use their sidearm.
So you think they got lazy?
I think at this point, Toei should get a whole. I think Toei should actually reconsider maybe getting Hasbro on board with, or Takara, Hasbro's Japanese partner, Takara, on board with producing the toys now too.
Yep.
Because I think Bandai has about burnt themselves out with what they can do with this concept.
Yeah, Bandai.
Because it is a limiting concept, and you can only have so many of your own ideas.
Yep. Bandai needs to stick to Gundam at this point in Dragon Ball.
Bandai does a great job with Gundam. Okay, I'm not dissing Bandai's ability to create toys. You know, not to you, but I'm saying this to the audience because I am a Bandai fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying maybe they need to step away from this one for a while and let, Takara and Hasbro take the helm. I know they've had their differences in the past, but you know what? Takara does great work with the Transformers alone. That should be proof enough that they know what they're doing.
Yep. Now I gotta tell you this. Something I forgot to mention about the Megazord. You have to buy each individual one to collect the whole thing to make the Megazord.
That's a little annoying.
They're playing it off like the Power of the Primes Dinobots.
Okay, see, that works with that because they're each their own individual characters. In this scenario, why would I just get the rabbit? Rabbit don't even look like a goddamn robot yet.
Yep.
Okay, so the only reason I would buy the rabbit is to combine the other two, because the rabbit by itself is not a good standalone toy. Functionally, it only works with the other two, and I don't even like the Megazord. But it's just, I don't know. It seems like a bad decision.
Well, here's how I see it. If they had made it all together, it would have been worse, I think, as far as quality goes. So they sacrificed they sacrificed quality, or no, they sacrificed having it all together to make it look
convenience.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose, better end product, but it just seems like selling someone a video game console and then saying you have to buy the controller separately.
That- Also, this right here, the Power Rangers Play School Megazords line.
Oh, is that from well, it's not Die Ranger, but it's the
Season 2 Zord.
yeah, the
Zord.
season
Yep,
2 Dragon Zord.
that is exactly it.
Well, that's an interesting take on it.
Oh, and something I noticed, they got rid of the little armor pieces that, because the original Imagine X line, they used the movie suits from the 1995 film as their figures and changed it up a bit. It was kind of weird. It was very inaccurate. But this keeps the spandex suit look and then makes it actually look accurate.
Yeah, well, except for the fact that the dragon is standing on 2 legs.
Yeah, well, you can't really fix that. Ooh, now let's talk about this.
Oh, the Zed figure. Okay, so I'm actually surprised that they decided to market this as a kid's toy, especially when you consider, the how sensitive we've gotten to certain imagery. Because it literally is exposed muscle with a metal exoskeleton.
Yeah, so a skinned body with a metal exoskeleton.
Um, and with the flames on the staff, he looks fucking metal, dude.
Mm,
Seriously, I would put that on the cover of a metal album.
I would. So are you going to be getting this figure?
If I can find it.
Same here. Oh, I love the tubing. That tubing.
Yeah, I do appreciate the attention to detail. That's one thing I'm excited about with this hat. I was skeptical. Okay, there was not a bigger skeptic on this earth than me with Hasbro picking this license up. But I am actually very pleasantly surprised at what they're doing.
Guess what? This is only $20.
A higher level of I can understand how that would be slightly more expensive than the $10 line, but
Oh no, this is good though. This
yeah,
is
no, I know
SH,
that is good. That
this
is,
is
and
SH figure quality.
his legs look a little fat.
Well, his legs were always fat, so
Fair enough. Uh, but yeah, now that I like. Okay, same reason as I like Zed is just how smooth, how accurate it looks.
oh, it gets better.
Okay, only if that comes with an alternate head will I be willing to
It
spend the
does.
money. Okay,
It comes with Cougar's head. It does. They all come with heads.
you can't see it right now because you're not looking at the chat screen, but or at the video call screen. But I'm pointing out one of the few things that I've always questioned about that character,
Hold on.
about Cougar. But
Let me see. Oh, yeah, I get it. But yeah, it comes with his head. There's another pic up here above where they had an update on it. Oh yeah, we're going through the whole toy line, so
oh, and we won't go through the whole toy line. We'll give you a few highlights because we've got 10 minutes. But
okay.
and I apologize because we're probably going to be talking about this a lot in the next few weeks.
Oh,
I
we will be.
apologize if I use the Sentai names. If I use the Sentai name, it's because I saw the Sentai version of that show first,
I'm
and it's
watching the
habit
Sentai one currently.
of Go Busters.
Yep.
It's pretty
Actually, you
funny.
know what? What we should do for the next few weeks in hype for Beast Morphers, we should review episodes of Go Busters in order. Next few streams.
I don't see why not. Let's go for it.
All right, cool. But yeah, I'm loving these packaging. They're going full out with this. Ooh, the Battleizers though.
Oh, that's right, because they're always called Battleizers in the American version. I actually really like the design in the Japanese version, and so I'm really looking because it's not uncommon for the West to produce their own designs for battleizers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be really interesting to see what they do.
And you see all those little things that are on the side? Those are the keys that go to your morpher.
The little things on the side. Oh, okay. Well, I guess. I mean, I guess that's kind of a cool gimmick, but
See, they attach to their arms on the Rangers here.
I suppose I think it would be kind of annoying to have something like that sticking out, but sticking out of your
You
morpher.
put
But
them in, I think, and then you take them out after you've activated.
I think because I think I've seen footage of what you're talking about, and it did have something kind of sticking out. It wasn't far, but it was enough that I noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Right. This
I
is what
may
you
have
were
to take
asking
some time
about.
to warm up to that. Okay, yeah, I can see the cougar head. That's going to be a lot of fun, just freaking beheading one of your favorite Power Rangers characters. I did not like SPD as a season, but I loved the Shadow Ranger.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you ever wondered if the original Zeo Ranger Megazord, was still around, this is the actual suit from Zeo Ranger.
Oh, that gives me some warm fuzzies.
As in, it says over here, you can't see it, but it says over here, original show prop. It was used. They state as it was used in the first episode. This was of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: Day of the Dumpster, which implies first episode of Zeo Ranger.
Okay, they must never use that costume again. It needs to go in a plexiglass, airtight, pressurized container with climate control and no lights.
I bet you they're going to do that.
Just make another one. That is a sacred relic,
Mm-hmm.
and we must never touch it.
Yep, and this is a GameStop exclusive.
Ah, there's gold. See, that's what Goldar is supposed to look like.
I love this.
Guy in the comments here saying, "I get it. Yes, I've got the long hair and the beard. I look like a friend of Jesus."
Who's in the comments?
Christian Torres and a fella named Cage.
Hold on. Let me go to YouTube here. Weekend Dojo. There. Sub Jesus. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the dojo Jesus. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then here.
I will turn that water into tequila.
How do you feel about this one?
I really like that. I like the attention to detail. I love how the cloth rumples. That key bugs me.
Where?
Or is that not the key that's that
That's
thing
not a
next
key.
to?
That's this is the high class Lightning Collection figure.
Oh yeah. So see, I like that. I've seen that image. I like that. That effect part.
That
Now,
effect that you
I
can attach
understand
to
what
it.
that's supposed to. That is supposed to look like the digital effect from Go Busters.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a little bit more yellow than it did in the show, but
Okay.
that tends to happen. That tends to happen when you try to go from screen to plastic,
Mm-hmm.
especially when with certain shades of green.
Also,
Oh, Christian Torres wants to know what we're talking. We're just going over the new Hasbro's new releases or new announcements for the toy line since they've taken over for Power Rangers.
yeah, we're talking about the Power Rangers toy line. The new releases. Ooh, this looks promising. Was it the Halloween costume they've got released?
No, it looks like they're just showing off role play toys.
Oh no, these are suits.
Well,
That's
at least they're well, the suit itself. Yeah, I think that is a paid actor, but
no. Look at this. This is a Halloween costume. Look.
That okay? Can I just say I've always thought that riding leathers chafed like hell.
This still looks pretty good for
It looks
Halloween.
good. It looks good. I'm just thinking that cannot breathe well enough to wear that all night. That's gonna chafe in all the wrong places.
Oh, that looks nice. That looks beautiful.
Now that is cool. I don't
I'd buy
remember
that.
when it comes up in the show for Go Busters. It might be a Power Rangers thing exclusively, but I'm down with that.
And then, as yes, is the sword. This is where there's
And
another.
I've already stated my opinions on the
Yep.
Zords. And it just gets uglier the more you slap on it.
Ooh, I'm definitely a fan of these ones.
Oh yeah, the
That looks sweet.
Buster Gold and Beat Buster.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that, and they're marketing villains more too.
Now I'm actually pretty happy about that because it's the villains, the monsters always have kind of an interesting design. Like kaiju, well, they are kaiju. Uh, and I think it's a shame we haven't been doing it up till. I can understand wanting to skip a few. There are
Yeah.
some silly ones out there.
Ooh, I like. Ooh,
That's
this
a
one.
good call.
This looks really nice.
Dark
Well,
Buster, a Buster Dark, yeah.
yep, they've confirmed it. Ooh, okay.
Now here's the thing, and if they're doing it with monsters, it makes sense because a monster will show up, die, and then that's it. Dark Buster really only existed for a few episodes.
I'm not know that. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
very temporary thing.
that's fine. It looks like he'll have a bigger role. Now let's talk about this.
What the hell is that? Is that
It,
the
it,
Imaginext thing?
no, it's the play school thing. It's for the little kids.
Why?
Because, well, hey,
Like,
I'm
okay, I understand that it's for kids, but just look at the face.
he's
Look at
smiling.
the. It just looks dumpy. It's just, Mr. Potato Head up in here.
And then here's the figures that go with it. This is for it's called Play School Heroes line.
The figures actually don't look terrible.
Ah.
It's got that cartoony, disproportionate mold, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes Play School different.
And then we've got the Lightning collection on display here.
I'd be willing to cough up some cash for that.
Yeah, same. Now, what you should do is get a second one and then wrap a little tiny bit of duct tape around the staff as a little detail. You know what I'm referencing?
Mm-hmm.
There was for anyone who doesn't know, in the old Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, um, a few episodes in, you started to notice little wraps of duct tape around Lord Zed's staff because they were,
That shit broke pretty often.
yeah.
It was not a well-made prop.
Nope. Ooh, that Tyler figure is amazing.
It is a good figure. I skipped Dino Charge personally.
I enjoyed Dino Charge season 1. Season 2 was terrible though.
It's the super series. It's the super seasons that have made me stop watching.
Yep.
Hopefully with Hasbro we won't have to do that anymore.
Right.
And I am very excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I want Give to Me. I will put that on my shelf.
Yes, same. I love that little thing they got swirling around here too.
Absolutely. Oh, you know what? I'd love to keep doing this all night, but we have been on for like an hour, and that's our time limit, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
However, this will not be the end of it. We will probably go back and we will explore this a little bit more, as I imagine in the next couple of weeks coming up, Hasbro's going to have more and more announcements as to their plans and what they're going to do, what we're going to hear about this Paramount cinematic universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be big news, and we're going to try our damnedest to cover it.
All right. Yeah. So next week, shall we agree to do the first 5 episodes of Go Busters?
Sure, I don't mind revisiting them.
Cool. Good. It's on YouTube. I can send you the link afterwards.
Oh, I know where to watch it.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
And if
So
you guys want to join with us, I will leave a link in the comments below once the video is up to where you can watch it on YouTube. It's called Tokume Sentai Go Busters English sub. All the episodes are on YouTube. You can watch it, and so that way you can keep up with us as we're talking about it the next few weeks to get ready
hopefully
for.
they're on there legally.
Let's just go with yes.
We'll say yes for now until otherwise informed.
Right. And then to get ready for Power Rangers Beast Morphers in the next month.
Yep. So as always, and one more thing again, get well, Ozzy.
Mm-hmm. Get well, Ozzy.
Okay, I know this guy here has been listening to War Pigs. Don't let him down.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, we will see you later, Weekend Warriors.
Stay more phenomenal, everybody.
Oh, before you go, why don't you plug your new channel?
Oh, yeah. I got 2 new channels. So I had to restart Ace Red because, well, Japan, copyright stuff. Basically, I'm going to stop doing edits of Japanese stuff. So I'm sticking with movies and anime openings for live-action movies now. Just more American-based edit stuff. Aside from that, I've started a Hot Wheels toy review channel. If you guys want to check that out, I will leave a link to that, and I'll link both of those channels under Weekend Dojo for you guys to subscribe to.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Maybe.
Stay more phenomenal, everybody.